Sometimes YouTube boxing is home to the best boxing matches to grace the scene, with very even and competitive fights. But sometimes you get the odd fight where you really scratch your head and think, who the hell put this together? This isn't fair in the slightest, bro. And today we're counting down the top 10 mismatches in YouTube boxing. Coming in first at number 10 is Greg Hardy versus Haseem Rockman Jr. on Misfits 003. Now this fight was crazy because there was a big factor in play that made this a mismatch, and that was the weight. Somehow, don't get me wrong, I know that heavyweight has an unlimited weight limit. However, Greg Hardy came in at 298 pounds, while Haseem Rockman was like just over 200. There was a 98 pound weight difference for this fight. There are literally people who box who are the same weight as the weight difference of Haseem Rockman Jr. and Greg Hardy. No wonder Greg Hardy knocked down Haseem Rockman Jr. a few times. The guy was fucking huge. Watch the fight. The guy is fucking massive. The fact that the fight even was allowed to happen is crazy to me. Despite this, Greg Hardy did get pieced up in the first round. Haseem Rockman Jr. was clearly the better boxer, pieced him up, but all it took was Greg Hardy to really just actually start to hit him, and it was basically done out. I mean, anyone would get battered by a guy 300 pounds punching them in the face as hard as they could, repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Next up is a fight I've actually spoken about before in a video, in my Gib is overrated video, and that is a Nissan Gib vs Max Plays FIFA. This was on the first ever YouTube boxing event, which is why it's so high up, because Gib had never fought before. However, here's the deal. Max Plays FIFA was literally blind. Well, partially blind. The guy was fighting with basically zero vision, or half his vision, or whatever. The fact that he was even allowed to fight, the fact he passed a medical is crazy. I mean, Gib went in there and just smoked this guy, as he should, against the guy who's basically blind. Max Plays FIFA should never fight again. I mean, literally for his health, he should never fight again. And the fact that he fought all with partial blindness is actually really commendable, and I respect him a lot for that. However, that is a huge mismatch, and I cannot actually believe that he was allowed to fight with basically one eye. Who the fuck let that happen, dog? Next up is a female fight between Fangs and Alina Vampira. Now this fight was really annoying to watch, because Fangs is 35 years old, right? She's got kids, she's getting onto that mother age. Her whole thing is that she does OnlyFans with an antibody, and it's just, oh bro, why are you in the ring? The fact that she wanted to fight Barbie beforehand, Barbie, you know, the girl who beat the shit out of Whitney Jones, who's a very fit, athletic woman, is crazy. She got Alina Vampira, who is not as good as Barbie, and Alina Vampira went in there and bullied Fangs almost as much as the people at school are going to bully her kids when they find her OnlyFans, bro. It's crazy. And yeah, Fangs basically got the smoke shit kicked out of her, bro, by Alina Vampira, and it was just not fun to watch. Honestly, Fangs should not be fighting. Why is she fighting? I know she wants to do it, but really, you're 35 now. You had so much time to do boxing and you didn't. And now that Misfits is here, you want to do boxing. You could have done white collar boxing. It would have been a much fairer fight. But here we are. Up next at number 7 is Jace Swindler vs Churdleys. Jace Swindler kicked the shit out of Churdleys, but here's the deal. The reason this isn't closer to number 1 is because this was Jace Swindler's return fight after he was 0-1. So obviously, it's not going to be a crazy fight. Churdley was just there kind of for the bants. And yeah, Jace Swindler went in there and just absolutely put work on him, knocked him down and then knocked him out. It was pretty cold to watch. Regardless though, I do like Churdleys, and I think he does fit more at home, somewhere like Creator Clash, where the fighters, well, if you can even call them that, aren't very good, and Churdleys can probably go in there, be funny, and still maybe even get some wins under his belt, who knows. But yeah, Jace Swindler basically bullied Churdleys, and that is why it's number 7 on this list. Number 6 is a fight you all knew was going to be on this list, and that is Josh Bruckner versus Chase Damore. Now here's the thing. Josh Bruckner has a lot of balls getting in the ring with Chase Damore. You got to realize Chase Damore is the greatest boxer to ever live. So the fact that Josh Bruckner even got in the ring with Chase is big props to him. But obviously, Josh Bruckner got in the ring, so did Chase. Chase went in there, quick 1-2, and it was over. Chase Damore flatlined Josh Bruckner, knocked him out clean onto the canvas. Josh Bruckner was looking at the lights. He was like, yo, what's going on? Chase Damore offered a hand. He said, Josh, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Look into my eyes, Josh. I love you. And Josh said, I love you too. And ever since then, Chase Damore has been the undeniable GOAT of boxing. Look guys, there's a reason that Tyson Fury is ducking Chase Damore right now, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Number 5 is a fairly quick one. It's Salt Papi versus Andy Warski. This fight was so unfair, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, you mean it's unfair because Salt Papi literally knocked him out in like 5 seconds. No, even if you watched before the knockout, bro, just look at the way that they're moving. Salt Papi looks like an actual person who can box. Andy Warski looks like a guy who's just been boxing training for like 2 weeks. The fact that he went out there to have a fight, the fact that his team let him fight looking like that is actually atrocious. I mean that. It is fucking crazy that they let that happen. Salt Papi just went in there, bing bang bosh, took him out, light work. It was just such a mismatch. It was actually kind of ridiculous. But then again, it is Misfits boxing, mismatch, misfits. It's fun, and it kicked off the Salt Papi hype train, which almost lasted over 2 fights. Number 4 was the fight that kick-started Jake Paul into the mainstream, and that is Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Ben Askren, why was he even in the ring? Oh wait, I know, paycheck. Yeah, that's the only reason, let's be honest, guys. Ben Askren was only in there for a quick paycheck, bing bang bosh, and to leave. I mean, let's break this down. You have Jake Paul, a guy who's been boxing 1-2 years professionally, whatever, right? And then he fights a guy who used to be a wrestler, right? That was his main thing. He was a wrestler who had a hip replacement surgery, is in his late 40s or mid 50s, something like that. He old as fuck, basically. He's fat, and he doesn't even really want to win the fight. I mean, the writing's on the fucking wall with that one. Yeah, so Ben Askren versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul really wanted to win, went in there, bing bang bosh, took Ben Askren out with 1 punch. I think it was a straight right, and Ben went onto the floor, got back up like nothing happened, and then the ref waved it off. He was like, nah, fam, nah, we can't continue. And it's just like, oh, okay, sure then, I guess, whatever. So yeah, Ben Askren was a victim of elderly abuse, but it is what it is. Good job, Jake, for doing that. But the weirdest part was that after the fight, Jake Paul was crying and celebrating like crazy, like he had just won the World Cup, despite the fact that what he had just done was beat up an old man, which is kind of funny. That dragged on for a while, but coming up next we have Scarce versus Rakaraka. This fight was just, I mean, it's a classic, but it is a product of old school YouTube boxing in which one guy was just basically in the whole boxing thing just for weight loss. I mean, credit to Scarce, he went crazy on the weight loss. He looks so much better now, and it's all thanks to this boxing match. So, you know what? Kudos to him. Absolutely crazy. Love it to see it. Rakaraka, I mean, we already know he's a lunatic anyway, but then he comes in, bang, 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 and just does not stop hitting Scarce. I don't think Scarce even landed a punch. I mean, maybe he landed a few jabs, but the guy was a fish out of water. I mean, even the people on commentary were talking about this being a massive mismatch, and Scarce just didn't look like he wanted to be there at any point, although he was hanging in there and he showed a lot of heart. So we got to give credit to Scarce for the weight loss and the heart, and give credit to Rakaraka for the relentless pounding and willingness to win. Number 2 is a silly one. This was KSI's first fight back from retirement after he beat Logan Paul in their rematch, and that is KSI versus Swarms. This fight was just like, damn. I mean, it was literally a sacrificial lamb to the slaughter, okay? Like, you got to keep in mind, KSI literally knew that this was such a mismatch that he scheduled another fight on the same night against a professional boxer. I mean, this was just overkill. It was KSI, boxer, musician, superstar, the Swarms, guy who had to lose 20 kg in 2 weeks and also had 2 weeks to learn how to box. So the guy was a fish out of water, and he did his best to hang on, and he tried to run away, but we all know what happened. KSI knocked him down. Swarms didn't want any of it. Swarms dipped, and I don't blame him. Look, it was his first ever fight, and he had a week to train for it, basically, and the other week was just dedicated to weight loss. It must have been just fucking painful, and all that just to get banged up by KSI. I mean, I can't imagine, but I will give Swarm his props. He did go back into the ring and beat Ryan Taylor afterwards, and then had a fight with Deji. I mean, the guy is not a quitter, that's for sure. And, you know, we got to give credit to Swarms. And unfortunately, Alex Wasabi did pull out, but in doing so created the superstar and Misfits known as Swarms, who had continued to fight, and that's what we love about Misfits. It is just a fucking crazy show of crazy characters, and we love it. You may have seen this coming, but number 1 is, of course, Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. What a fucking mismatch. This was awful, and I blame Nate's team. Did you know there's a pretty reliable heavy rumor that Nate Robinson didn't even spar once before going into a fight with Jake Paul? That is fucking ludicrous. Jake Paul was obviously training very hard, and, you know, this was a great stepping stone for him, but holy shit, what a mismatch. A guy who's never even sparred before, 5'5", small, versus Jake Paul, who's a lot bigger, heavier, more experienced in the boxing ring, and actually trained. Holy shit, what a fucking mismatch. This was insane. What was worse was the referee, I don't know if he was a fucking NBA fan, but he was trying to give Nate every opportunity to get back on his feet. And it was crazy. It should have ended at the second knockdown, but it ended on the third knockdown when Nate Robinson got flatlined. And I mean fucking flatlined. We didn't like to see it. It wasn't great, but, you know, it is what it is. Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson is our number one. Before you guys leave, a few things. First of all, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I am not on 1,000 subscribers. I'm on like 400. If you guys could please subscribe, that would mean so much to me. I love you. Mwah. And lastly, I've talked about it before, but I am officially starting my own boxing promotion. We're looking to hold our own first event later this year. Please go check out the Instagram for it. Please go check out the Twitter for it. Please go check out the YouTube channel for it, which will be having content made on it very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Roll the trailer.